What's going on, everybody? So, man, I woke up to the news. It's my day off. I slept in a little bit, you know what I mean? And then I'm getting all these texts. Yo, the fight's canceled. I'm like, what? What do you mean the fight's canceled? Like what's going on over here? We can't go back-to-back weeks with no boxing. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's canceled? So, yeah, so the fight, it looks like it's going to get canceled, if not canceled already. It's really up to you, Cat, but Benn, Eubank Jr. may not happen. As of right now, this is 9:15 Mountain Time on Wednesday. You know what I mean? So 9:15 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesday. So it's whatever, right? It's whatever. But I am very, very interested on what's going to happen soon here. You know what I mean? Now, for some reason, it's not live right now. I have no idea why, but it's not live. Make sure you guys press the play. That should be live. Well, I mean, obviously, it'll be on. But either way, I'm gonna play some clips of Eddie Hearn because this shit's hilarious, bro. Like, this is good for comedy. It's just this, regardless of where you stand and all that, it's funny, bro. It just is. So I want. Oh man, I don't even know where to. Like, this is gonna be. I'm gonna play a clip of Eddie Hearn, and then somebody else that Eddie Hearn is very familiar with is gonna counter his point, right? And I think they do a really good job countering Eddie Hearn's point. Then I want the audience, I want you guys to tell me who made the better argument, Eddie Hearn or the individual that Eddie Hearn is very, very familiar with, right? But Eddie Hearn probably sees this individual every day. I mean, I'm certain of that, right? Now, Man in Water just said something I was about to say, right? And that's the point of, so they're already wagering the guy. I mean, he already agreed to drop down 3 pounds. He already agreed to a rehydration clause. They're going to have 11 a.m. the next day, I believe, where he could only move up 5 pounds. You know what I mean? So like for almost 20 hours, can't go more than 5 pounds up. Like they were already doing this, yet apparently Benn was trying to get a little something. You know what I mean? But that's, and look, I don't want to make this about, because there's people already. Oh, I don't care if they're on roids. I don't care if they're juicing. I don't, like, it's whatever. Like just you sign up for some. You agree not to take certain substances. That's it. I mean, that's just the way it is to me. It's that simple, right? But let's listen to Eddie Hearn. He makes some great points, I guess, and then I want you guys to listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say, and then we're gonna listen to the person that Eddie Hearn is very familiar with give a counterpoint, right? But let's listen to Eddie Hearn.
Ongoing process now with the investigation. It's a difficult situation for the board because the board do not acknowledge VADA testing. You remember when Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for VADA, he was banned by the Massachusetts Commission. The board did not suspend him or ban him because they don't acknowledge VADA. They only acknowledge UCAD, of which Benn has had multiple testing for this fight, and it's all been negative. So there's a lot to digest and go through. And right now, obviously, the legal teams are speaking with the board. They have to be comfortable as well to obviously sanction the fight, and we'll see how it unfolds.
So there you go. Eddie Hearn is saying, look, I mean, Billy Joe Saunders is positive, and you can't acknowledge it. So, you know, like but you're doing VADA testing though. Like, why do the testing if you're not going to? And for anyone that says, oh, you're not, I'm very consistent about this. When Oscar Valdez got busted with a banned substance, and we had multiple discussions about all this, right? What it was, what it wasn't. But look, it was on the banned list. You did VADA testing. He should have been stripped. I said that a million times. At the very least, he should have been stripped of his belt. They didn't strip him. Why? Because, oh, well, if it was USADA, it wouldn't have counted. So, yeah, but you didn't do USADA testing. Like, you know what I mean? So like, that's irrelevant to me. I'm a firm believer that if you sign up for some and there's a list of something you agree to not take, both you and your opponent have agreed, look, we're not going to take these substances. Leaving aside because there's a greater argument, and I get that, of, well, what about the substances that are legal but they're more effective? It's a waste of time to have that argument. All I know is that you and your opponent both agree that you're not going to take substances on the list. Conor Benn, in this case, took a substance on the list. And then when he gets caught, Eddie Hearn is saying, well, you know, but you can't really recognize VADA, really. But he's doing the whole, if a tree falls in the middle of the forest and no one's around to hear it, doesn't make a noise. He's making that argument only in a more dumb way. Like, he's basically saying that if Conor Benn tests positive for a banned substance, but UCAD doesn't recognize the body that did the testing, right? Does it really count? Did he really take it? The answer is yes. But this is and you heard him even say, like, he's almost like bragging that Billy Joe tested positive in Massachusetts and they banned him, but I mean, we're not going to recognize that. Like you know what I mean? Like they're making an argument of technicality. This happens a lot in courts, believe it or not. That's why a lot of people are found not guilty, even though people know they're guilty. But a loophole, right? A technicality lets them go. So Eddie Hearn is openly making an argument of technicality, but the technicalities don't really work with public opinion, though. They might work in a courtroom, but in public opinion, they don't really work. Like, most people listen to this and say, you heard it. We're going to play it one more time for anybody that just came in. Okay, we're going to play it a little bit, so stay put. You can't make this argument of morality and this argument or not morality, I'm sorry, of technicality. Like, people will hear what you're saying, you know? People know exactly what you're saying. They know what's being said. Like it's like he's not saying, oh, look, guys, maybe he didn't take it. Let's wait on the B sample or nah, this substance isn't really in the ban list, or hold on, I think that there was false positive, or by the way, the B sample thing, 99.99999% of the time, the B sample is going to come out the same. Okay, it's the same fucking sample, right? So what we have to ask ourselves as a whole is should we even be doing all these? What's the point of doing all this testing? And an individual that Eddie Hearn's really familiar with makes the same argument. But listen to this again.
Ongoing process now with the investigation. It's a difficult situation for the board because the board do not acknowledge VADA testing. You remember when Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for VADA, he was banned by the Massachusetts Commission. The board did not suspend him or ban him because they don't acknowledge VADA. They only acknowledge UCAD, of which Conor Benn has had multiple testing for this fight, and it's all been negative. So there's a lot to digest and go through. And right now, obviously, the legal teams that are speaking with the board, they have to be comfortable as well to obviously sanction the fight, and we'll see how it unfolds. The ongoing.
I mean, you heard this, right? His argument's clear. Look, I'm not saying he didn't do it, but does it count because VADA did it? You know, I don't know. I don't think UCAD and the British Boxing Commission really gives a shit what VADA says, right? That's basically what they're saying. So it's not a matter of whether or not Conor Benn took illegal substance. It's a matter of whether or not VADA is recognized by UCAD or the British Boxing Board of Commissions. Like you know what I mean? And he's using a Billy Joe example. Before I proceeded, there's a problem with this comparison. In a different fight in the U.S., Billy Joe tested positive per VADA. The Massachusetts board suspended him. moving forward, the commission did not suspend Billy Joe, so Billy Joe was still fighting in the UK. Right? In this case, this is the lead up to the fight that's going to happen in the UK. And he was caught on the lead up to this fight. So there's a difference there even then, right? But I kind of get his points. I get what he's saying. Don't sign for some if you're not going to honor it. If you say, I don't give a fuck what it is, bro. Like if you agree before the fight, all right, if you agree before the fight that you're not going to take pictures with blondes, then guess what? You got to honor that. It's the way it is, as ridiculous as that sounds. Don't agree to shit if you ain't going to honor it. Damn, somebody saying he should be banned for 4 years. 2 years if he pleads guilty. That's crazy. That is nuts. Shout out to Box Talk 101. That's crazy. But let's listen to a guy. This is someone that Eddie Hearn is really familiar with. Very friendly, too. Him and Eddie Hearn get along a lot. They're very familiar with each other. They see each other every day. And he disagrees with Eddie Hearn's point, right? He makes a different point. So let's hear what this individual has to say. And we'll go from there, okay? Let's listen.
I don't need to save money. I want to put on good fights. So that was a good fight for the zone. So I'm disappointed. But what is the point in signing up for drug testing if when you fail, everyone just goes, oh, don't worry about it. Just let him fight. You know? Yeah. So, and the argument of, well, it's all right with UCAD, it's totally irrelevant. You've signed drug testing with VADA, the best testing agency, in my opinion, in the sport. Now, I don't need to say
one more time.
So that was a good fight for the zone. So I'm disappointed. But what is the point in signing up for drug testing if when you fail, everyone just goes, oh, don't worry about it. Just let him fight. You know? Yeah. So, and the argument of, well, it's all right with UCAD, it's totally irrelevant. You've signed drug testing with VADA, the best testing agency, in my opinion, in the sport. I don't need to say.
Okay, so Eddie disagrees with Eddie, right? So Eddie Hearn and Eddie Hearn both have a massive disagreement. I told you he's very familiar with the guy, right? No one knows the other one more than the other one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody. This shit is funny as fuck, bro. So I want to make sure, for those that just came in, I'm going to show you both arguments. You tell me who's right, okay? So first, in the red corner, Eddie Hearn. Hear him out, though. Hear him out.
Ongoing process now with the investigation. It's a difficult situation for the board because the board do not acknowledge VADA testing. You remember when Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for VADA, he was banned by the Massachusetts Commission. The board did not suspend him or ban him because they don't acknowledge VADA. They only acknowledge UCAD, of which Conor Benn has had multiple testing for this fight, and it's all been negative. So there's a lot to digest and go through. And right now, obviously, the legal teams are speaking with the board. They have to be comfortable as well to obviously sanction the fight, and we'll see how it unfolds.
All right, Chad. So you heard him. You know, he made his argument. Sounds like a politician, right? That's crazy. Like, it's just a really difficult situation because it's a really difficult. It's not that difficult of a decision, right? It's difficult if you have, in fairness, if you have a vested interest in it. Like, Eddie Hearn's going to make money out of this fight. He's watching money get flushed down the toilet right now. You know, in fairness to him, that's what's happening. Like, money's literally getting flushed down the toilet, and he's watching it get flushed down the toilet, and he wants to save his money. Like, you know, at the end of the day, that's what he's trying to do. But let's listen to, you know, Eddie Hearn's going to come and make his argument. So in the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, to counter Eddie Hearn's points, Eddie Hearn.
I don't need to save money. I want to put on good fights. So that was a good fight for the zone. So I'm disappointed. But what is the point in signing up for drug testing if when you fail, everyone just goes, oh, don't worry about it. Just let him fight. You know? Yeah. So, and the argument of, well, it's all right with UCAD, it's totally irrelevant. You've signed drug testing with VADA, the best testing agency, in my opinion, in the sport. I don't need to say.
So I don't know. I think both Eddie Hearns made a great argument. You know what I mean? They both presented their case. You guys got to let me know who you think made the better argument. You know what I mean? Let me know who won the debate. Is it Eddie Hearn or Eddie Hearn? You let me know who won the debate. But, you know, something tells me, and you guys got to pick a winner, by the way. Just Eddie Hearn or Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? But, you know, this is funny because this is not unique to just Eddie Hearn. Promoters are in a very weird position, right? Because everything with promoters, everything is about making money. All of it. So like when people say, oh, Eddie Hearn, he's not in it for the fighters, he's in it for the money. Of course he's in it for the money. Well, what like, you know what I mean? Like, no one reaches the mountaintop in promotional companies, right? Like nobody becomes a successful promoter because they're doing it for the kindness of their hearts and not interested in making money. Like it just doesn't work that way. All right. Like, of course he's this way, but this is not unique. Aram's contradicted himself constantly over the years. Aram's the one that said the famous line. Well, yesterday I was lying. Today I was telling the truth. Right. Or yesterday I was lying. Today I'm telling the truth. Well, whatever. All right. De La Hoya's contradicted himself. Mayweather, as a promoter, contradicts himself. You know, like it's just the way it is. But so I'm not saying it's right or wrong. All I'm saying is this is more normal than people think. It's just that nowadays you're in a microscope, man. We're on social media where we could track everything you're saying. You can't just deny it now. Like if this was a newspaper article, you could just say, I never said that. Like if it was in print or something. Somebody saying they just changed, the BBC just changed their TV schedule. Yeah, but wasn't that fight going to be on the Zone pay-per-view though? So I don't know about that, J.O. Yeah, I don't know about that one. But we will see. At the end of the day, you guys let me know who won the debate. Eddie Hearn or Eddie Hearn. Right? This is DStyleBoxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.